reached out in a letter sent to you. Did you get it? And can you tell me what to do? It was a message in a bottle, S.O.S. Told the story of our troubles, more or less. There was a fire we both knew. The less we talked, the more the problems grew and grew. And now the house is gone where the demons used to live. I hope you write me back. I hope you help me forgive. This isn't easy. I've never walked this path before. You hold the keys and you can open up the door. I call our fathers and our fathers say they know not. And Hail Mary, I guess our mothers all forgot. Write me back, or better yet, maybe you'll call. Sometimes what's old is new, sometimes what's old just needs to fall. I hope you get it, I think you know we want the same thing. I look to hear from you and neither letter nor a ring. I reached out in a letter sent to you. Did you get it? And can you tell us what to do? It was a message in a bottle, S.O.S. It was the story of our fathers, more or less. Welcome back to the Jeep Journals. My name is Ray, and you've been riding along on this fantastic voyage for I don't know how long, this joy voyage for I don't know how long, but for long enough to know that I've got a long way to go if I want to make it to rock and roll, because it's a long way to the top. In the meanwhile, this song I dated on June 19th of this past year, and that date was relevant because it was around the time frame, where there was a fire, and I knew the fire starter, and some of you knew the fire starter as well. So there was a fire, and the starter we both knew. These songs that I'm bringing to you tell a story from this journey, which has not always been a joyful journey. There have been some challenges, some roadblocks along the way, some obstacles. Thankfully, I have a vehicle that can overcome those obstacles, and quite efficiently in most cases. In some cases, there are roadblocks that are seemingly, what's a good word for it? Insurmountable. They're unable to be climbed, conquered, unable to become hindsight. You know, it seems like we're unable to overcome some of these obstacles when we first see them. However, as we look at these things together and learn ways to overcome some of these challenges together, we successfully navigate those journeys together. So this channel is about togetherness. Today on this story of Show and Tell, I'm showing you a Taylor T5Z Pro. And this guitar is beautiful to me. It's got a finish that has a couple of tones to it. It's called, I believe the color was called Gas Lamp Black. And I think this guitar was particularly interesting to me because the headstock has a different color from the body and really sets it apart from some of the other guitars that I saw, which are also for sale under the same model number. So this guitar had a little bit of extra flair to it that helped me to light the fire that was required to actually make a purchase for this guitar and pair some music to it. And I recorded a whole album in 2020 called Hindsight. And then at some point in time, the battery in my laptop started to fail, and I replaced the battery, which somehow jiggled a cable that caused one of the fans to stop firing off in my laptop. And so I took my laptop to get repaired at the manufacturer, and the laptop repair basically was they swapped out the whole guts of the laptop instead of repairing that one component. And that included all of my stockpile of songs that I had already recorded. So I don't have any of my old content where I can go and re-record the tracks, re-record the vocals. And so for a long time, I'd been kind of down about the situation, feeling a little bit bummed that it was now overwhelming to try and complete the process of re-recording all of these songs, some of which had errors in them that made them sound perfect, and some of which I hadn't even learned the lyrics to. Many of the songs, actually, I hadn't even learned the lyrics to because I didn't get to go back through the catalog and practice those songs and bring them to you in their proper format. So right now, I'm still bringing you an improperly formatted acquisition of songs, or compilation of songs, I should say, that you can acquire by continuing to subscribe to this channel and view all of the other basically the other songs and all of the other content that I'm uploading here. This channel is focused primarily on wellness and conservation. It has a lot to do with nature and sustainability, health and wealth. All of these things are really tied together in an intricate way that's not quite so intricate as we used to talk about. In the past, we separated each other by all sorts of degrees, and in the future and in the current, we're starting to recognize that there are not quite so many degrees of separation between us. Some of us are able to talk quite nicely without even having a degree. So with all of this in mind, with what we're experiencing in this era today, and with the seemingly limited amount of time that we have, I'm trying to stockpile a lot of content for people who are enjoying this channel, and that's really about it. If you're enjoying this channel and understanding that we're talking a lot of times about having the faith to do the right thing, then we're going to learn with one another that the abilities we have to stay calm under the circumstances are more than present in our own selves. And all we have to do oftentimes is control our breathing. I've got a pet who basically is struggling to get back into good health. The cold weather has prevented him from recovering as quickly as he normally would, but he still goes right after the people that come. In fact, there was confirmation. Still goes after people who come to the door to defend this domain and to make sure that it stays safe from intruders. In this particular case, I'm inviting you into this channel so that you can check out what there is to have been shared here. Understand that I'm still on this journey where we are essentially plummeting forward, trying to resolve those things that maybe some of us seem to be caught up with the fact that they might be too far back in our past, too far in hindsight for us to actually be able to perceive. But that's not true. The more we look at the world as a whole, the more we see the communication failures, the more we know that some of the situations that we're running into are quite challenging, but not as challenging when we have a group effort that's there to bring things back on track. So in this particular case, for show and tell, I'm showing a Taylor T5Z Pro. It's in gas lamp black, and it's got a different color headstock than the body. And it's talking, the song that I paired to this is, I believe I called it Our Fathers. And this song on this page, I don't have a title to it, but I know I've uploaded it at least once more using a different guitar. And that was basically one of the introductory times when I had just penned the song. And it felt good enough to share right here with you, with the story as it was developing at that moment. But in this world right now, especially among our fathers, I have absolutely taken the time to pen a letter, to write a letter. And I have reached out in a letter sent to many people. You might be one of the persons who've received a letter from me. And I'm curious still if you have received it, because as it says in the very second line, I reached out in the letter sent to you in the second line, and did you get it? Can you tell me what to do? In the last verse, I changed the words to, and did you get it? Can you tell us what to do? Because I'm not the only one that has the same questions that many in our society are asking. We're all asking, how are we going to get past these obstacles? How are we going to get things back on track? How are we going to get better? How are we going to heal? How are we? Well, first we have to look at our own selves and think, well, if I'm not well, then I can bring myself back to a better place so that I can do something with this opportunity that I've been given. So on this journey, we talk a lot about regaining our focus and our awareness in order to regain our health. A lot of people are talking about a lot of the same things. A lot of the rhetoric argues as to whether or not there's any kind of spirituality involved in this thought process. It doesn't really matter if you're thinking in terms of anger, what the subject is related to. You're going to find a way to divide. The things of anger, the things of the dark side, so to speak, the things that are there to kill, steal, and destroy, will even attempt to destroy the very joyful message that this started out to bring, that this presentation itself is here to bring. And they'll overshadow it with a lot of circumstances that seem relevant when sometimes they're really not relevant. If we find ourselves in a situation where the whole world is against us, that's okay, because remember, This is just a temporary experience in a human format of the world. And we're not really of the world. There was something else that helped spark forth that beautiful life that we have and that beautiful opportunity we have to connect with one another. I hope this video is connected with you. If nothing else, I hope you enjoyed seeing this guitar. It's a beautiful guitar. I hope that you enjoyed the aspect that I wrote an interesting little short poem about a circumstance that I had encountered as an obstacle last year. I hope that you understand that this has been part of my healing, part of letting go, so to speak, and letting basically whatever you might think you would let, if you let go, let. I don't know what comes to your mind, but what comes to my mind is peace. Once I've let go of something that I'm not really thinking about other than being aware of it, I no longer have judgment for it because I never was the judge. I'm not the judge. I'm just the observer and the participant who's able to make those choices in response to whatever circumstance I'm being presented with. And so are you. You're able to make your choice fully aware, fully committed to accepting responsibility. And I hope that you have come to this channel to learn more aspects about this valuable insight. And I hope that you have a great day. Until next time, peace, love, and all that old school stuff. Just as a side note, I've never, except for one semester in college, studied music. I took an elective classical guitar, and I barely learned to read music for that moment in time. And even then, it was a very rudimentary introductory course. And so I don't know all the theory about what scales work with what notes work with what chords work with what, how my voice should be matching whatever. I'm just winging it. And at this point, that's basically all self-taught, with the exception, of course, of all of the things I've ever heard in my entire life which sound like music. And some of the things that sound to my ears like music that bring joy, sometimes they don't seem to bring joy to other people. But a lot of other people who have projecting scenarios going on, the things that they hear might reflect in a way where they think it's talking about them. This whole story is not all about us, even though this is called YouTube. This whole story is not all about us. There's a bigger picture to all of this. So I don't know why I felt moved to say that. I just know that it seemed relevant. So for whoever that was for, I hope you got that information and I hope it makes sense. Please click on the description, add some comments, click on the thumbs up, click on the thumbs down, whatever it is that you want to do to interact with this page. May this be your opportunity to find joy going forward. Till next time, peace, love, and all that old school stuff.